Welcome to Momentum, a motorsports podcast powered by High Gear Success. I'm your host, Heather Wilson Schiltz. Here we share the stories and strategies that keep the world of motorsports moving forward. And I'm excited to chat with Kade Johnson, an accomplished motocross athlete who has won championships at some of the most prestigious events like Loretta Lynn's, Minio's, and more. He's currently competing in the SMX Next program, formerly Supercross Futures, and recently competed in the Pro Motocross Championship. So, Kade, thank you for joining me.
How are you doing? I'm glad to be on. This is awesome.
Yeah, I'm really excited to talk to you. It looks like you've had a very accomplished career so far. You're only 18 years old, but you've achieved more than 70 career championships and also an AMA Supercross SMX Next win. So when you were growing up, did you envision that you would be where you are now?
No, probably not, to be honest. I've always looked up to motocross racers and whatever else, and I've always been pretty good. But whenever I first started, I wasn't actually really that good, like at all, really. And so no, I to answer that question, I would say probably not. It was just a lot of training, a lot of grinding, and eventually it was just like at some point I was like, hey, I'm actually pretty good at this. Let me keep training. I have some attributes that other people don't have, and let me keep on going. And I just kept going and just trying to get faster and faster every year. And you have your ups and downs, but yeah, no, it's been amazing. It's been amazing.
So you grew up in Texas, right?
Yeah, actually, I was in Salt Lake until I was like 9 years old. But I've been in Texas since.
Gotcha. At what point did you and your family kind of realize that you had this talent for riding, and when did you really start training, I would say, next level?
Well, when we moved to Texas, that was the whole purpose of moving to Texas. We lived in Salt Lake, and I got into motocross there. But since it's a drier climate, it doesn't have great dirt bike tracks. I mean, it has some here and there, but not nearly as good as, let's say, Texas or California or Florida, especially. So we knew that we had to move out of Salt Lake City, and because we were driving to California every weekend. I mean, probably 30 weeks out of the year we were going to California, and it was 10 hours. I would get out of school because I did public school for a really long time, longer than most motocross racers do. And I would get out of public school at, let's say, 3 or 4, and we'd drive all night to California, race Saturday, Sunday, and then drive all night to get back to work and school on Monday morning. So once we realized that we were doing that too much, it was too much. We decided, hey, it's time to move to Texas, and we did. And even in Texas, I won once we moved to Texas, the first year I lived there, I won my first national championship against kids that were all homeschooled and riding every day. And at that point in time, I hadn't been doing that. I'd been going to school every day and just riding a little bit after school here or there. So it wasn't until really pretty recently. I mean, not super recently, probably like COVID, maybe just after COVID, where we were like, okay, let's go all in and do this. But yeah, because my parents were always education first, and this is just a hobby. So it wasn't really until semi recently where they were like, okay, we have a chance in this.
Yeah, it is crazy how many kids are homeschooled for motocross or just racing in general. And going to public school takes up so much more time, right? And you have so much more commitments. But it's really cool that you were able to do that for so long until you finally reached that level that it made sense.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and it's not in motocross isn't a school sport either. So it's not like, oh yeah, you can go out of school 2 hours early to do practice. Like, it's not like the track or the field is just right there at school. It's completely separate. The school views it really as a hobby. So it was tricky to do, tricky to take that much time off. Really, I had to have really good grades at all times, or else the teachers wouldn't let me out because I was missing so much time. And so they were like, oh, well, he's missing that much time and he shouldn't be missing that much time, but he has really good grades. So he's fine. So that was definitely a savior. But yeah, it was tricky, but I think it was good to stay in school that long. Yeah, it was good.
So you've ridden Yamaha for most of your life, correct?
Yeah, for about 10 years now. Once I moved to Texas, pretty much I was in Yamaha ever since. So quite a while.
And then you had a last minute switch to Kawasaki Team Green for Minio's in late November. So was it really tough to get adjusted to a new bike so quickly?
Yeah, it was. It was honestly harder than I anticipated, to be honest with you. Um, I got on the bike and I thought a few more things were gonna be similar, but they weren't. But I did a lot of testing on the bike. Only had like probably a day or two of actual training on the bike before I had to go to mini O's. I wasn't even planning on racing mini O's, and I had to go to the national. And yeah, it was tricky. I had an opportunity. Dan Truman helped me get an opportunity, and he was like, and Michael Byrne, and they were like, let's do it. So we went to mini O's, and it was a pretty successful week, especially for how much time I had on the bike. I won the Dunlop Silver Tire, which was the award for the best A rider there, and yeah, it was an overall great week, and especially for, like I said, how much time I had on the bike. So it was sweet.
Were people like really caught off guard to see you riding green?
Yeah, it was honestly pretty weird because it was kind of like it wasn't like an official announcement. Like no one really knew until next thing you know they're like, "Who's that 177 on the Team Green stand?" Like it was like it threw off a lot of people, and I kind of wanted like that. Like my mom was like, "You want to do a little announcement?" I was like, "No, I just want to show up on the green bike and do well." So, yeah, that was a plan, and it was fun.
I love that. That's really cool. Are there certain moments from your amateur career so far that stand out the most in your mind? Some really memorable moments over the years?
Geez, there's almost a memorable moment at every single race. Man, I don't know. I would say just a few that probably stand out as like super like I guess emotional or kind of cool ones would be first off my first I guess semi-professional SMX Next win in the mud in Foxborough. That was an absolute crazy race, super muddy. The crowd was going crazy. It was like my second or third actual SMX Next race because I was semi new to that stuff, or really new to that stuff, I guess you could say. And anytime I would go down, a leader would go down, the crowd would go crazy, and so that was just such a special feeling, especially whenever I crossed the finish line. I was absolutely so muddy. It was so cool, and then I would say that was for sure a special moment. On 50s, one time for my first championships of the 70, actually I think it's 71 now since Minios, but of the 70 was on 50s. We had moved to Texas, so we went to Texas, dropped off our stuff, didn't get moved in, and went to Minios. And that was my first championship, and I came from the back. And on our transponder systems, I passed the leader in the very last corner, and we literally tied. Like it was 0.000 gap. And so they had no idea who won. It was a crazy race, and they ended up to give it to me. I don't know exactly why, if that was because there was a rule of like if you're in the back or what it was. I don't know, but I won that race, and so I was so special, especially since it was my first one, and that was kind of my first big step into, hey, I'm actually kind of not just a nobody, I kind of have to be reckoned with. So those two are probably the most memorable. Those were really like, whoa.
Do you feel like your confidence has grown over the years? Like each time that you achieve something, you're like proving it not only to yourself, but to everybody else?
Yeah, I would say so for sure. I would say especially in the recent since racing SMX Next because it's televised. Like you race amateur races and you could be racing 85s and be absolutely hauling, like going so fast, battling with amazing kids. You have to bite tooth and nail to win a championship. You win a championship and 100 people see you and like, oh, good job, whatever else. You're like, yeah. Well, SMX Next, you can do this. You can kind of ride or whatever, and it can be not even as good of a performance or whatever else. But since 100,000 people see you, everybody knows who you are, and so it's like, holy moly, it's such a weird feeling. Like I went golfing after I won the mud race, and they're like, "Hey, were you the one who won that race?" I was like, "What? How do you know that?" Like it was just such a surreal feeling, just how kind of broad it gets. So yeah, it was really cool.
Was it different racing in a stadium environment than the typical outdoor motocross track? And what surprised you most when you stepped into SMX Next? You obviously talked about the TV aspect, but how did it feel with that huge crowd there?
Yeah, it was crazy. I would say honestly, more than the crowd was just the stadium. So like Supercross in motocross itself is a very different track styles. Really, they're different sports. And so it's completely different. Like you feel like whenever you first get out there, you feel like you're just crammed in a little box because it's so tight. Like you're never really getting out of like third gear. I would say that's probably number one, and then number two, like the lights, like racing at dark under the lights, and you're just like you'll be racing, you'll just be focused on the track. Next, you'll look up and you'll be like, holy moly, I'm in Supercross right now. Like the stands are like right there, and the crowd's going crazy. It's like you're like you're the people they're coming to watch. So it's been really cool.
How do you handle the pressure of knowing that SMX Next is kind of essentially like an audition for your future career? I mean, it's getting you to that next level, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I love that it's a thing, to be honest with you, because before it wasn't, and I think it'd be tricky because like you can be the very top amateur kid, and it's happened many times before SMX Next was a thing. You could be the very top amateur kid and go to pros, and it's kind of sink or swim, and a lot of people do sink. So I think the SMX Next, being able to get like a foot in, getting not fully submerged, but kind of get a little taste of the tracks or whatever else, and be in a battle in that environment with not the full on dirty old grown men pros has been so amazing. And just being able to get kind of a feel of that and all of that good stuff is a really cool experience. So I appreciate that the most.
How many SMX Next rounds are there in 2026? Do you know?
For Supercross, like the SMX Next Supercross, there's five. It's Anaheim 2, and then it's Houston, then very next weekend, and then it's Daytona Beach, Florida, at the Daytona 500, and then it'll be Birmingham, and the championship will be in Philadelphia. So that'll be really cool.
Will you be racing all of those then?
All five, yeah. We're training Supercross right now this week. I mean, we've been training Supercross for a while. We're changing up the Cowie in a few ways, doing some suspension changes, just here and there changes, trying to get it really comfortable and ready to go for Anaheim.
I will unfortunately not be there for A2. I will be out there for A1. I live in Ohio, but I'm going to be out in California for A1. But that sounds really cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be sweet.
Stepping back a little bit to August, so you made your first professional motocross start at Ironman in the 250 class. So what was that experience like for you, and did you have any expectations going into it?
No, absolutely no expectations. So I just had raced Loretta's, and I wasn't on a team at the time, and I did pretty well at Loretta's. I got second at Loretta's, so it was a pretty good week. And I was like, hey, you know what? I want to race pro. Just get my feet wet, get a feel for it. Just because it's always like my entire career, I always raced kind of up a class. Like if I was, let's say, 8 years old, I would race the 8-year-old class and the 9-year-old class and the 10-year-old class. So after I get done racing those big, strong boys or whatever else, you come down, you're like, oh, these kids are weak and slow. You know what I'm saying? Like it is compared to what you're riding with. So that was kind of the goal of it, and it was exactly what I wanted. Like it was such a learning experience. The first moto, I ended up getting a flat tire, so I couldn't finish that one. But I made a few mistakes before I even had the flat tire, so we could fix those for the second moto. And the second moto was great. I mean, I got a terrible start. Like it was so cool to see how aggressive they get in the first corner. It's like they forget they're on dirt bikes. They'll just like slam you, they'll move you, it's whatever they want to do. They are so aggressive. They're getting that paycheck because they're grown men, And so I slowly was coming through the pack, and eventually I'd pass a person, and he'd get all mad that I'm either a rookie or whatever. I shouldn't be beating him, and it would try to slam me in the next corner, and you got to get away. And so I came through the pretty much the whole pack, and I got to 16th or 17th. I forgot what I got, but it was a great race. I mean, I beat a ton of factory riders. I was like, it was a really, really good situation for me. So I rode great. It was such a fun experience, especially the long motos, like, and the fans were going crazy. Like I wasn't even in the main race, but it was so awesome.
Yeah, I feel like starts are probably, well, I've never been much of a racer, so I've ridden some off road, like family enduro style stuff, where you're starting like 4 or 5 people to a row and it's go. It's not like a crazy mass start.
Mhm.
And so the motocross style starts are just nuts to me. How, like you said, people just dive into those like no fear, trying to get to the front. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean and the difference, it's funny because like the difference between amateur and or like amateur pro versus pro is like, let's say in the corners, not that big of a deal, like maybe a little bit here and there, like, and the kind of that goes for everything. It's just like a little bit here and there that makes them the pros. However, the starts is, I don't know what, if you when you go pro, they're like, okay, here's the deal, you gotta be super super aggressive, or they're giving them some, I don't know what's in the water up there, but it's actually crazy. Like they will go into the first corner. And it doesn't matter if you got a better start than them, you shut them down. They will slam you. They will clobber you. And if they might be going flying off their bike, who knows? But they get their elbows up and they're so strong in the first corner. And so I'm just focusing on trying to do that and trying to compete. But yeah, they're ferocious. They're ferocious for sure.
Do you have more plans to do pro motocross in the future?
Yeah, I think I have up to 3 rounds before I have to go full pro. So I'm gonna do like 3 rounds. I don't know which ones I'm gonna do, but just here and there, I guess, and then race the SMX next, and then probably go pro sometime, I don't know, later.
Can you tell us a little bit about the dog pound? So I saw a lot of this on social media. That was formerly Chad Reed's training facility, correct? But now the Lawrence brothers own it.
Yep.
And you get to train there. So tell us about that.
Yeah, it's such an awesome experience. I mean, first off, the Lawrence brothers are so awesome for having us riders out here. I mean, it's a super small group. I think there's like 9 out here right now, but every single one of us are tight, and we all like each other. And it's a super sweet situation. We all have the same goal, and that's just to be better on the dirt bike. Become better people, whatever else. Some other training facilities, they'll take people's money, but they're not really there to be better. And so it's really, really cool here that everyone's trying to become better racers, better riders. And it's been sweet to be able to ride with such fast riders. I mean, it's not just the Lawrence brothers. There's a ton of other fast factory pros, just normal pros. It's just been so sweet to learn and just get better. I mean, the brothers and Dazzy, the dad, are super nice. I mean, they'll just come up to me and be like, "Hey, you need to hit it like this, mate," and or whatever else, or "Hey, you're hitting it like crap," you know what I'm saying? But it's super sweet having them out there.
Is there like a vibe check that everybody has to pass to be able to train there? Like, I'm sure, I mean, there's tons of great riders, like you said, right? And some facilities will take anybody's money, but is there like a personality or like an attitude aspect that they kind of look for when they invite riders there?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of criteria to come here, to be honest. And then the guy Dan that runs the facility goes through and talks to everyone. It's like, "Hey, do you like this kid? Do you like this kid? Do you like," to everyone? And for the most part, if someone doesn't like him, he's not coming here. You know what I'm saying? So you got to have a good record with not making a ton of people mad, and just being a good person. And then once you do get here, you have to set a good example, not be lazy, try to be like, you have to actually be trying to better yourself in the sport. I mean, it doesn't really matter how fast you are, as long as you're trying to succeed and not drag everyone else down. It's a good thing, because whenever you're training, but with training with everyone else that really likes to do it, training doesn't really feel like training. It feels like just a fun activity. But when everyone else just doesn't really want to do it, it feels like training. So it's really cool having a close circle of people out here that are awesome.
Kind of a no drama facility, and you got to work hard to be there.
Yes, exactly.
So, with racing, school, training, travel, like you mentioned golf, do you get to do anything else fun in your downtime?
No, I wouldn't say, but the
Just
fun thing,
sleep.
the fun thing is the training. Yeah, I mean, seriously, like on a normal training week, it changes depending on what season we're in. But right now we're riding Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, but Wednesday and Saturday we're riding we ride bicycles. So it's literally Sunday's technically the only off day, I guess you could say, but most Sundays are either filled up with school or getting activities done. Like right now, I'm trying to put a new seat on the bike and getting all that stuff ready. So it's not a whole lot of time. No, and it's a lot of eating, refueling, drinking, and sleeping, to be honest, because sleep is so important in this sport, especially when you have to be so laser focused so often. It gets tiring. So other than golf, no, not a whole lot of stuff.
Who have been some of the people, whether it's coaches, teammates, family, that have had the biggest influence on you in your career so far?
And there's been so many people that helped out. I mean, just even the super small, like for example, a guy this weekend, I did a race this last weekend, and my clutch went out, and he just came up and he helped. He had no skin in the game. He just was super nice. I mean, it's that type of stuff that you just kind of see in the motocross industry. He just came up, helped, and then just walked away. I probably will never see the guy again. Like it was super nice. But like my family, first off, mom, dad, sister. My sister's in a huge part of my program, a lot more than most siblings, I guess, are. She sacrificed a ton. And she loves coming to the races still. She's in college right now, but yeah, now I have to say, obviously my coaches here at the Dog Pound, they've been super helpful since I've got here. BJ Burns has been amazing help. He was my coach in Texas forever. Whenever I first got on big bikes, he helped me get the basics of kind of the big bike, my technique, how I could get that down. He was an amazing coach, and he used video analytics, which I really enjoyed. He helped out a ton, like I said. Other than that, there's just so many small people that just do super kind gestures that it just makes you want to spread, do the same, take it and pass it along. Like, so many people doing things that they just don't have to do, and they just do because they're super kind people. That's just the motocross community, I guess. And, they've been super awesome. I mean, I've met so many nice people along the way that helped me and pushed me forward in my career.
It's more of a team sport than people realize, right? Like you are on the bike solo, but there's so many people behind the scenes that are making things happen.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, like you said, it's a team sport for sure. I mean, just being out here, it's awesome. I mean, you have a suspension guy at the races. You have your entire family. I mean, my mom is literally at the races working to non-stop, more than me. Like she's trying to predict every move. She's like bringing out sandwiches so I can have it right in my face so I can eat, drink. She's keeping track of my hydration. I mean, she has my computer there so I can watch my lines, autograph. She has everything. My sister does the same. I mean, it's just everyone's just it's such a group effort, and the circle that I have is not a huge circle at this time, but it's of those people that are in it. I mean, the Castlemans, Prime Star Home Health, they've jumped on board since this SMX Next season, and they have helped so much. I mean, they've come to pretty much, I think, every single race, no matter how big or how small. They're more than just a sponsor at this point. They're family. So, but they've been so awesome. I mean, they do whatever they can to absolutely help me, and it just becomes. It makes me feel really special and makes me really like doing what I'm doing and just going out there and representing. I mean, I really have the easy job. So, yeah, it's awesome having these tight knit of people.
What is the biggest skill that you're working on right now? Something that could make the difference between just having a good ride and really having a breakthrough ride?
Yeah. So right now, just as far as technique is concerned, since I've gone to the Dog Pound, I mean, it's a ton of simple things, but it's just kind of tricky because we're so engraved in our memory is keeping both my fingers, my index fingers, both of them on the controls at all points in time. So not just corners, straightaways, whoops, anything could be. Keep it on one on my clutch and one on my front brake, and then also rotating my hand out a little bit so it kind of helps the square of my body. And then third, right now that I'm is probably the most I'm focusing on the most for as far as Supercross is for the whoops, missing the first actual whoop with my front wheel. And so like all the best whoop riders do it. It's tricky, it's hard, but it helps you get flat in the whoops and fast. So that's what I'm working on right now.
It probably requires a lot of thinking until it becomes like habit, like you said, like you're constantly thinking about it. And then once you do it so much, it'll just be natural.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like it's funny because I was like, it was like so much thinking, so much thinking, so much thinking, kind of natural, and then now I'm back to the point where I'm like trying to focus on like going fast, and so sometimes my technique slips up just a little bit, so I have to focus on going fast and keeping it on. So, yeah, it's been super fun to work on those things.
You were also recently highlighted as a quarterfinalist for NFL quarterback Russell Wilson's Year 3 brand Youth Athlete of the Year. So, how does it feel to be recognized not just for your riding, but representing the next generation of athletes?
Yeah, I mean it's amazing. I was so happy with how far we got in that, and yeah, I mean as my mom always said, or is me is the faster I potentially get, and the more um recognition and more people look up to me. I need to use that. I guess you could say power. I guess that's probably not the right word to do good. You know, to I always thought it was super special and of the fast racers. They were super nice and humble. I don't understand why you get super cocky. I mean, I understand why someone would, but I don't think it's I should do that and just stay humble and just try to spread kindness and good because so many people look up to me, you know. So it's so cool seeing a kid that really admires me, and I talk to him for a little bit longer than I probably need to, and it's really cool for that kid, you know. So just trying to spread kindness and joy and using my platform with my Instagram or whatever else and Coco and keep on keeping on for anything that happens in life, you know, to spread kindness and help people achieve their goals or whatever else. You know, I enjoy doing that. I enjoy putting smiles on people's faces.
So, with that Coco that you just mentioned, the KOKO, keep on
Hmm.
keeping on, is
Hmm.
that something that you came up with, or is that how did that come about?
Yeah, it was me and my grandpa. We were at a race and I was really young and I was like I got like second to dead last or something. I don't know what it was, but I was like I just kept on keeping on, you know. So
Aw.
so the full slogan is actually Coco SV, but the brand is just Coco, and SV stands for Stay Vertical. It's the two things you need to win a race and do well in a race, you know. So, but yeah, it's become we've always followed that Coco my entire life, and eventually we're like, hey, let's spread this word, you know. It's really helped me, you know. Just got to keep on keeping on in life. I mean, no matter what life throws at you, it's going to throw you some crazy curveballs and whatever else, and it's important to keep on keeping on and stay vertical involved. So yeah, it was super cool, and yeah.
Do you sell apparel with that phrase on it?
Yeah. We sell apparel right now. We're trying to expand the business, I guess you could say a little bit, expand the word of Coco, and yeah, we're selling. We got t-shirts. I mean, we have just merch for just Kade Johnson. Just in general, it's kind of a cool Miami t-shirt. We're about to do hats. We're expanding it as much as we can. So hopefully, it'll be like a kind of my brand and expand as I get faster potentially and go to the pros.
I'm a marketing and PR person, so I love branding and this sort of thing when athletes develop their own line of like apparel and accessories, and it has cool meaning behind it too. So I think that's really awesome.
Yeah, it's been super sweet. It's been kind of tricky because that's not our expertise, but yeah, it's been fun, and I mean the slogan and the business model and the name and all that stuff came super easy because we've been just doing it our whole life. So that part was easy though.
You mentioned kind of talking to the younger riders and that kids look up to you. If you could give one piece of advice for kids that want to follow in your footsteps, what would that advice be?
I mean, I think the obvious answer would probably be keep on keeping on, to be honest. I mean, just no matter what, like when I was younger in California, I mean, we were every race, I was on like a stock bike against everyone else's mods. You know, I just had so many challenges and I have a terrible AMA birthday. And and that pretty much means I was always the youngest in the class. So that was always a challenge. So I wasn't quite doing probably as well as I should have been doing. It's always just tricky things, and you just gotta keep on keeping on. And those challenges when you're a kid and anytime in life just make you a better person. So, I mean, just it just helped out a lot. Like being the younger kid in the class is, now that I'm older, it made me tougher and probably made me faster, and it was cool. So
Looking ahead, what are some of your goals? And I know you kind of have a big announcement to make too. So what are the plans for this upcoming year?
Yeah, so I'm gonna be racing the SMX Next again, which is, I guess, formerly called Futures, and then the Combine, Motocross Combine. It's kind of all the same program, but kind of named different things. But yeah, and I'm gonna race those two, and then probably the SMX Next playoffs. We'll see. On the Kawasaki, so that was it turned in to like one race thing to kind of the future for my year. I've been really liking the bike and whatever else. So, yeah, that's the plan. I might race a few pro nationals. Like I said, I'm just trying to do whatever I can to develop myself as a rider and see whenever I can, I'm ready to go pro and whenever a team wants to pick me up.
Awesome. Well, let's tell people where they can connect with you or follow your career online.
Kade Johnson 177 on Instagram.
Well, thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you the best of luck this upcoming season. And thanks to everybody for tuning in to Momentum. This has been a production of High Gear Success. If you want to connect or recommend a guest, head to momentummotorsportspodcast.com. Until next time, keep the momentum rolling.